So we're going to go through the 2 most recent attacks on Jordan Peterson. And there's actually an interesting Facebook page called I think it's called oh look, another Jordan B. Peterson character assassination or something like that. It just documents every single hit piece on him. And they're up to number 102 right now. I'm pretty sure they just hit 100 not too long ago because there's so much hatred for this guy. And the thing is he's not my favorite person ever, but I like his work. I've read 12 Rules for Life. I thought it was a really good book. I thought it was I thought it was helpful. And I think a lot of what he says, it's surprising how controversial it is. And whenever I read the hit pieces, it always seems to be they're just not arguments. There are 2 or 3 people out there that I really respect that criticize him, and I respect their criticism. But for the most part, it just seems to be just people getting mad and angry for no good reason. And so when I see attacks like this, when I see people attacking him and him actually getting hurt by his positions, I think that's a bad sign of our current times, where when he is controversial, when what he says is majorly controversial to the point where he is losing a visiting fellowship. University of Cambridge cancels Jordan Peterson's visiting fellowship because he is not inclusive. When stuff like this happens to someone like him, I have to get extremely worried. Because this is Cambridge here. This is from Reason's Hit and Run blog, if you couldn't tell that by now. The university is an inclusive environment, and we expect all our staff and visitors to uphold our principles. There is no place here for anyone who cannot. Again, what does inclusive mean? That's the big issue. Inclusive seems to mean, and it rather an endorsement, or it seems to be an endorsement of literally anything that isn't literally anything, that as long as it's not being far right. I don't understand. I don't understand what it means to be inclusive. As far as I understood, it just means to be respectful. The way I see inclusivity is just hey, no matter who you are, if you're trans or non, or if you're right wing, left wing, if you're black, white, whatever, I will. You're allowed. I will associate you with I will associate with you most likely. And if I don't, it's because of you're a jerk or a reason that is not related to any of the things I just said. That's my general, that's what inclusivity should mean from my perspective. But rather, inclusivity seems to mean you have to agree with us on everything or you're a horrible person. That's what it turns out to be. To be inclusive means to endorse everyone's actions on everything whatsoever and to not criticize them for anything unless they're right-wing, is what it seems to be. The idea that, you can quite tell I am obese. If someone wants to just be a jerk about it and just be call me out for that and just be a jerk, I'm not going to associate them. If someone wants to criticize being obesity itself, I'm not going to take offense to that. I'm sure, I agree, it's a bad thing. I'm not going to get offended by that. That's something I understand. I don't think you're not including me if you were to criticize obesity or something like that. But that seems to be what it means, where you can criticize, if you criticize someone's life choices, that makes you a horrible person. No, I disagree with that. But this is something coming from Cambridge. As Jordan Peterson, the University of Toronto psychologist known for criticizing political correctness, announced Monday that he will be visiting a fellow. He will be a visiting fellow at the University of Cambridge's Divinity School. But on Wednesday, Cambridge's administration announced that they rescinded the invitation following a public outcry from students and professors. So notice that, for the most part, Cambridge, the people in Cambridge at the top. So the administration put this out there, and we're just why not? He seems like a cool dude. He's very well accomplished. Whether you like him or not, you gotta admit, he's quite an accomplished dude. And then apparently there was such a public outcry, which I have to wonder how much of this is from students and how much of this is from professors. Because what it seems to be, I'm reading Jonathan Haidt's and Greg Lukianoff's The Coddling of the American Mind. I think that's what the title was. And it is interesting how they point out how really all it takes is 4 or 5 really angry people and really upset people that just go at this hardcore, and everyone else just kind of stays silent. So I think, I'm theorizing that's what this is. A few people were angry, and then that was it. But yeah, they say Cambridge is an inclusive environment. We expect all our staff and visitors to uphold our principles. A Cambridge spokesperson told The Guardian, "There is no place for anyone who cannot." There is no place here for anyone who cannot. Again, Jordan Peterson does not seem to be a hateful person. If I were using my definition of inclusive, what I would assume would be the average person's definition of inclusive, sure, he seems like an inclusive dude. But from this more progressive definition of you have to accept everyone and anything, and you can't criticize anyone's actions at all unless they're center right or further, that's what I have an issue with. Peterson holds some views that are considered offensive by progressives. Again, notice it's not that he has offensive views, it's that he has views considered offensive by progressives. That much is true. He has objected, for instance, to the idea that anyone should be required to use a trans person's preferred pronouns. Again, he is objected to the requirement. This has been said a million times. I'm not going to spend any more time with this. The implication of Cambridge's statement, then, is that anyone who disagrees with the university's left-of-center commitments on these issues is unwelcome on campus. This is a fairly warped idea of inclusion. Disinclude those we label non-inclusive, and one that imperils academic freedom and free thinking. I disagree with many of Peterson's views, but he wanted to come to campus to engage with and learn from other scholars. It's possible he may have even learned something new from these conversations or modified his views in some way. Peterson will not get that opportunity, nor will Cambridge students and faculty get the chance to debate him or learn from him. So much for steel sharpening steel. So yeah, and that's the thing. Reason Magazine isn't some like Breitbart it's not like Breitbart or Infowars or anything. It's libertarians, and even then, sometimes some of the writers like lean kind of like left libertarian, others are like more right libertarian. But overall, like this is not a biased piece right here. This is not a biased source. It's like, yeah, that's actually a great way of the way of wording it. I think disinclude those we label non-inclusive. That might be a good phrase to, like, whenever someone throws out inclusivity, just quote that in every comment section or anything ever mentioning inclusivity. But yeah, so that's that. And there's actually a second one here, which I would argue is even worse. Jordan Peterson's 12 Rules for Life removed from Whitcoll's following Christchurch terror attack. So Whitcoll's is apparently like a bookstore in New Zealand it's like kind of like a Barnes Noble, bookstore. Jordan Peterson book is no longer for sale from Whitcoll's in New Zealand following the Christchurch terrorist attack. Now you might be wondering, like, why? Like, why following the Christchurch terrorist attack of all things? Why? The controversial Canadian professor visited, I'm not even going to try to pronounce that, in February, weeks before a gunman killed 50 people and injured dozens more at 2 mosques in Christchurch. Yes. As did many other people. Although Peterson's book promotes self-help rather than violence or racism, he was photographed in New Zealand embracing a fan wearing a t-shirt emblazoned with the words, "I am a proud Islamophobe," along with a list of various inflammatory accusations about Muslims. Now, this is this is by far one of the dumbest things I have ever seen. Because you understand what this is, right? This picture is literally like, he must have given a speech somewhere, or he must have, like, he's posing for pictures, which means that there's probably a line next to this picture, about 50 people at least, that are in line, ready to get pictures of. And you know what they're going to do? They're just going to walk one after the other, he's going to get pictures with everyone there that wants a picture with him. It's not like he sat down with this dude. It's not like he talked to him. It's not like I bet that, if anything, he probably only said 1 or 2 words. If anything, he might have said a full sentence. Or like, yeah, nice to meet you. Like the kid probably said, nice to meet you or something like that. And the guy saying, nice to meet you too. Do people not understand this stuff? And this is written by a journalist too, which means journalists understand photo shoots, right? They understand. I guess I shouldn't go after the journalist as much as I should go after the bookstore itself. But do people not understand how like photo shoots work? Or not photo shoots, but like people getting pictures with people with their fans, people they like. It's not like they go through them one by one, like, okay, what are your opinions on this? What are your opinions on this? Well, I disagree with you on 5% of things, so you know what, no. Now, for one, Jordan Peterson probably didn't even see the shirt. Like, I've gotten pictures with people I like before. Like, I've been in this guy's spot. And you know what happens? You walk on stage, you look at a camera, you get a picture, it takes about 20 seconds, and that's it. Maybe you get to say hi. That's it. So I would honestly bet you money that Peterson never saw this dude's shirt. Because you know where Peterson is looking? He's looking at the camera. He's going to spend 2 seconds maybe looking in the guy's face just to see who he's getting a picture with, saying hi. He probably didn't even see the thing. And even if he did see the dude's shirt, nobody is stupid enough, at least I thought, nobody is stupid enough to think that you took a picture with someone else that had something on their shirt, therefore you endorse their shirt. Like, do we now understand? Are we now going with the idea that if you that if you hang out with someone that you approve of what they wear, like that you it's not even that you approve of, but that you endorse what they wear? That's what I don't get. Like, this is so moronic that this could not have been done in good. Like, this could not have been someone being stupid. Because I gotta say, like, I have to take the approach of don't attribute to malice what you can attribute to stupidity. This is malice. Like, nobody's this stupid. Nobody's this stupid to look at someone, Peterson, with one of his fans. Like, there are probably thousands of pictures out there that look exactly like this, and they found the one with a kid with an offensive shirt, which isn't even that offensive, honestly. Like, I'm not even upset. Like, I'm not even I don't even see an issue. I don't even see an issue with identifying as an Islamophobe, because it's more of a, like, the term doesn't really exist. The term does not mean hatred or phobia of Muslims. So really, what it means is pretty much like you said anything even remotely offensive once. Like, that's the people that use the term are like, oh, like, you disagree with Sharia law, you're an Islamophobe. Like, you say like, you think terrorist attacks are bad, you're an Islamophobe. So when someone, it's kind of like deplorable, where as soon as I think that most of the people that even use the term as identifying Islamophobe, they're like, okay, well, I think terrorist attacks are bad. Like, I think Sharia law is bad. Therefore, sure, I am mad. If people are calling me that, I'm fine. That's what this kind of shirt is. So, but this bugs me because it's so moronic. Like, they were like, oh my God, this kid, it's not even, we're not even at the end of it yet, too. They're not even like, oh, Jordan Peterson is an Islamophobe, therefore we're going to stop selling his books. It's Jordan Peterson is pictured with a guy that is obviously a fan, that wore a shirt that is offensive, therefore he is appropriate, following a terrorist attack, to take his book off the shelves. This is the stupidest thing ever. Wittkols doesn't specify the exact reason for dumping Peterson's 12 Rules for Life, but the Islamophobe t-shirt photo could be part of the disturbing material referred to in replies to customer inquiries. Unfortunately, 12 Rules is currently unavailable, which is a decision that Wittkols has made in light of some extremely disturbing material. Some extremely disturbing material being circulated prior, during, and after the Christchurch attacks. Wittkols, again, like, have these people, like, the people obviously, it's a freaking self-help book. That's like following it's like, imagine after following a terrorist attack. Imagine after Las Vegas, people were like, well, there's this book out there called The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. It's pretty radical. We're going to take it off the shelves following the Las Vegas shooting. Like, imagine that. I feel bad to laugh because it's in reference to a terrorist attack, and it's a little censorship, but it's awful. Now, again, for the people that are going to, like, point this out, like, Wittkols has the right to not sell books. They can not sell whatever they want, and it's like, sure, fine. Like, I'm not going to support legislation that says bookstores have to sell every single book that exists out there. Like, no, that's moronic and wouldn't be enforceable, and it's dumb. But, obviously, because I know that people won't understand this, obviously, I am allowed to say this is moronic. I am allowed to call this censorship. Not in the sense of, like, in preventing other people from speaking, but more as, I think that if you're a bookstore, or if you're someone that issues with, if you're someone that kind of has that control over the flow of information like that, I think you have a responsibility. You have some kind of responsibility, at least to respect that position. Because when you're a bookstore, when you're a big bookstore, that is something you are in charge of, like controlling the flow of information like that. You put people go to that store. People go to bookstores and they look at the bestseller list to see what they want to buy. Some people do that, and when you're in charge of that, now, like, does that mean like you control who buys what? No, but you have an influence over that, and I think there's some kind of responsibility in that respect to not say, oh, I don't like this book, therefore we shouldn't sell it, kind of thing. Like, oh, I personally don't like this self-help book, therefore we shouldn't sell it. I think, like, pretty much your responsibility is money. Like, make the bookstore money. Like, don't take a book that's not going to make you any money, that's not going to sell. But if you're going to start saying, like, oh, like, this is a certain book that it's a bit offensive to me, it's a self-help book, self-help is a bit controversial following terrorist attacks, apparently. Who knew that saying fix up your life may have inspired terrorism? Like, what kind of moronic thinking is this? But yeah, like, I think you have some sort of responsibility in that respect. So I'm not a fan of Wittkols for this. I think this is a bad move on their part. Rather, I wouldn't say immoral, but I would say, like, unethical in a sense. I was just starting taking down books like that. Now, the big issue that a lot of people have is not just that their rules are bad. It's not like the rules aren't really the big issue. The big controversial part is the rules are arbitrary. The rules are applying to this book, but not this book, applies to here and not there. So you have something incredibly moronic like this, where there was a terrorist attack, and Jordan Peterson took a picture with a fan that had an offensive shirt, and therefore we need to get rid of his book that's completely unrelated to any of this stuff. You have a rule like that. Then you take another book like Mein Kampf, for example, the Communist Manifesto. Like, Mein Kampf, like, is anyone in denial that Mein Kampf may have possibly been somewhat related to the ideology of the shooter? Like, can we at least say that there might be a connection there? I'm not saying get rid of the book, but I just want to point out that Whit Coles currently sells Mein Kampf. Just saying that Whit Coles sells like books by Hitler, but they won't sell books by Jordan Peterson, which I think just says something interesting. That's the double standard that people are mad about. That was the same thing with Amazon when Amazon removed Tommy Robinson's book. It's like you are selling some of the little worst stuff ever. Like there are books on how to falsely accuse men of rape on Amazon. There are books on there. Mein Kampf is on there. Again, Communist Manifesto is on there. Some pretty awful books are on there. And then they pick Tommy Robinson's of all people. That's what people have an issue with. It's the arbitrary. It's the obvious standard is not universal. It applies to whatever they feel like. As a business which takes our responsibilities to our communities very seriously, we believe it would be wrong to support the author at this time. Apologies that we're not able to sell it to you, but we appreciate your understanding. Again, we believe it would be wrong to support the author at this time. Why? Like, what does he have to do with anything? Like, I just find it so strange that they spend so much time going after people that oppose Nazism and the far right. Like, I just find that strange. The people that get hit the hardest, it seems to me at least, the people that get hit the hardest are the ones that are speaking out against the far right, speaking out against the alt-right, against, like, because, like, Jordan Peterson, you gotta remember, like, a lot of people are being like, oh, Jordan Peterson is a white nationalist or whatever. White nationalists don't like Jordan Peterson. The alt-right does not like Jordan Peterson. Like, that's the thing. They don't like him. So why are you going after him? That's what I understand. Why do you take the biggest enemy? Because you really think, like left-wing individuals, do you really think, like, far-left individuals, like the socialists and the Marxists and that, do you really think they are fighting Nazis? Do you really think Antifa is actually fighting Nazis? It's like, they're physically going about it, but do you think they're succeeding? Do you think they're doing anything productive whatsoever? No. When I see Antifa go out and beat up people, that drives me to the right. When I see far-left people say stupid things, when I see stuff like this happen, that pushes people to the far right, because they're like, well, now we're being, like, now apparently if you hold center-right views, you're going to be censored, so you know what? Might as well just, I would do anything to oppose the far left, is that what they move for. So I think Whit Coles is actually kind of complicit here in, if anything, in encouraging the far right. Because what they're doing is they're giving them reason to be upset. They're making them even more mad. Because they're showing that, oh, even if you strongly oppose the far right, you can't even sell your book. Like, we're not going to sell your book because you oppose Nazis very strongly. Therefore, you're far right, is kind of how it works. You wrote a self-help book once that said, fix up your life. Well, that's some pretty white nationalist views there, we gotta admit. You don't fight neo-Nazism by suppressing... Okay. ACT Party leader David Seymour, I don't know who that is. You don't fight neo-Nazism by suppressing reading in books. Anyone who knows any history knows that's the opposite of how you fight these kinds of ideas. Correct. A self-help book is an incredibly strange thing to suppress. I think Whit Coles has made the wrong decision, but I respect they're a private company. It's their right. So that's the thing. It's like, I respect their rights, but I don't respect their decision, is how I could put it. Searches for 12 Rules of Life and Jordan Peterson both currently return no results on Whit Coles' New Zealand website. When NewsHub phoned Whit Coles' shops to ask if they had copies of the book in stock, we were told it's unavailable. 12 Rules for Life does not contain the word Islam and only contains the word Muslim once, but not in a negative context. There you go. If you needed any evidence of this at all, it's like, contains the word Muslim. That is the extent. They include the word Muslim once. It's not even in a negative context. Meanwhile, other titles about Islam are still available, including Islam Unmasked by Henry Malone, which claims to expose the lies behind Islamic doctrines and the futility of Islamic practices. NewsHub. See, that's what I understand, too. It's like, there are about 1 billion books out there on why Islam is the worst thing ever. And it's like, I don't think those should be censored. I don't think those should be taken down. But that is what confuses me so much. It's like, okay, if you think that if you decide you want to censor, or if you want to like, of all the books to pick after a terrorist attack on a mosque, you pick Jordan Peterson's 12 Rules for Life. It's I don't even know if I can call it malice, because it gets so stupid. Now I'm going the other way in the sense of it's so stupid that even bad people wouldn't be this stupid. Like, I don't know, but yeah, I just wanted to go through this because it blows my mind at the absolute stupidity of these people. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments section. Like the video if you enjoyed. Subscribe for more. It's just I need a break. This is. I don't understand. I do not understand. Like they say, know thy enemy. I don't. This is too stupid. I give up. Yeah, let me know what you think in the comments. Like the video if you enjoyed. Subscribe for more. And thanks for watching.